All right, what we've got here is a Simplicity Broadmoor 17H, I believe. It's got a 17 horsepower Briggs and Stratton in it. I believe it was built somewhere between 2000 and 2001, is my understanding. So this thing's about 18 years old. A friend of mine, Mater Man, gave this to me one year, about 3 or 4 years ago, and really worked good. I put a couple of starters in it, maybe a couple of batteries, but I had some problems this summer. I finally got it running, and was all psyched. Mowed my backyard, went to the gate to go through, turned off the power to the PTO, and when I went to go turn it back on again, it didn't work. Let it sit, Googled some stuff, tried it again, and it worked again. But what seems to be happening is when it gets hot, this quits working. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to run it again, make sure I can get the same problem, and then I'll start taking it apart and get into that clutch. I think it's the problems with the clutch. I saw that on YouTube. If I could think of the guy that did it, I'd thank him. But thought I just might walk through this on video. Be my first YouTube video. All right, cool. All right, it's cold right now. What I'm going to do is start it up, see if that PTO works, which I believe it will. And I'm going to run it for 10-15 minutes, at least until that PTO quits working, that switch. Just to make sure I'm not getting into something I don't absolutely have to get into. Gotta hold that thing up in place to keep it neutral. Hey, what's up? Alright, well that didn't take long, about 15-20 minutes, and when I turn off the PTO and go to turn it back on, it didn't work. I also noticed that as I was checking it, there was a little bit of lag between when it hit the switch and when it would fire up, as far as the mower deck. So anyway, problems persist, so I will continue with this repair ish. All right, what I'm doing here is I just want to see with the key on, the on position, if it'll click. That's the bad boy right there, and I should hear it click. Nothing. There's the wires to check out. All right. Alright, I got the deck off, and here's something I noticed right off the bat. That thing is not moving, and it should be, I believe, be able to spin free. It's hot to the touch, and seems like I got underneath here yesterday, and I was able to turn it, and it made some squeaking noises, and I thought, well, that's possibly an issue. The other thing is this belt is this drive belt is really loose. And so anyway, I got another one. I figured now's the perfect time to change it when I take this thing off. Gotten my belt's in rough shape. You see those? It's gonna come off any day now. I might as well use this to document the routing. This thing's had a couple minutes to cool off. Look at that. That is not kosher. So, we'll see what's up. Alright, so here's some developments. In order to get that bolt off, you need to be able to freeze the shaft. And when I turn this, well, I got that clamp on there right now, which is the shaft turns, and I can't, thus the impact, an impact wrench could whack that thing before the shaft can turn and get it loose. I tried to check and make sure that thing wasn't left-handed, and I don't believe it is. So I thought, well, maybe if I can jam those that belt on there, I can kind of hold the shaft from turning, and I can a little bit, but it's not enough to get that thing loose. And so I might have, what I'm thinking is I'm gonna have to give up on trying to get this thing off. The other thing I heard was good luck getting these things off the shaft once you get this bolt off anyway, especially this thing's 18 years old. It is probably welded on there. So what I'm thinking is I'm gonna try and adjust it where it is. Here's the problem. I know this is a problem. This is disengaged, and it should. I guarantee this is supposed to flow and turn around here easily, and it is not. So I'm thinking what I'm gonna try and do is adjust this, which is supposed to be real fine gap setting between the clutch and the pads. But I'm gonna see if I can loosen this thing up, get this thing to drop down a little bit, and see if I can get this thing to float, to turn freely. And if I can, then I'm gonna try that. All this friction, it should be disengaged. It's probably what's heating it up and then causing it to fail. We'll see. I'll be damned. Check this out. I loosened these up about a turn. I did it a little at a time, but look at that. Loosened right up. Free. No, and you know, I thought maybe bearings or whatever, but no, it was scraping on there, and now it's free. That makes me feel a lot better. That friction, I think, was causing heat, and I think that heat was causing a problem. Now, how did it get so far out of adjustment? I've got no idea. The gap that's supposed to be in here in these plates, I don't have feeler gauges anyway, so what I did was I backed it off till it froze up, or till it freed up, and then I kind of worked these back just a little bit tighter, just in case. I tried to do it all evenly, but I felt like one or two I could mess with just a little bit. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn the switch on, see if it locks up. You hear that thing click? So I know that the switch is working, and it's good. Yeah, that's locked up solid right there. Now I'll turn it off. Freewheeling. Hey, I'm kind of excited. I didn't have to pull that thing off. I don't know if it'll work. There's really only one way to tell. Put the deck back on. Get this clamp off. I only had that on there to try and hold that shaft, but it's not working. Although I do have a belt that I was going to put in here. I should probably do that, but I know I'm going to have to take this arm off, the steering arm, I guess. All right, I've got the deck back on now, and everything hooked back up. I sharpened the blades and greased it while I was at it. Did not clean it and make it look pretty. But freed up that clutch up underneath there, that PTO right there, and I'm hoping it's gonna work. I'm gonna fire it up. Should fire up cold, and then run it and get it hot and see if it'll turn on and off. I'm thinking it will. Well, that seemed to work. It's hot. We ran it for 20 minutes. Switch worked fine. I I think that's something to keep in mind. Is that adjustment on the clutch. Just make sure it's free, and I bet you can do even a better job by making sure it's exactly right. All right, cool.